Tails the Fox is Sonic's sidekick and best friend. Even though he's a young child, he gets stuff done because he has two tails that can fly. He's also incredibly smart and makes all sorts of gadgets for Sonic and company. So, of course, being the fact that he's been around since 1992 and pretty much appeared in every single Sonic media with Sonic himself, Tails has had a lot of voice actors, mostly because they're trying to answer a question. What sounds better, a little boy voicing the character or a adult woman? And that's the question I guess I'll be answering today, as I continue the series that was popular and I realized, oh yeah, I should probably continue doing that, of ranking the Sonic voice actors. Today, we are covering Tails the Fox, or Miles Tails Prower, if you will. Let's get started. When it comes to the other voice actors, Tails is actually a harder one to rank because there's so many different voice actors, and there's two groups, like as I mentioned earlier. It's either they're voiced by a little boy or a grown-ass woman. And it's really up to you whether you think one's better. And for a while, some of these I felt I was just like struggling. Like, I don't know which order goes which. And honestly, I don't think Tails really ever had a great voice actor. In fact, my two favorites have a giant flaw, which we'll see later. I just like the way they sound. But yeah, just a disclaimer. I'm not going to be hating on anybody. I'm just ranking based off their voice performance. So don't do anything weird like that. Not that I know anybody that does that. But anyway, that being said, here's my opinion. It's not the best opinion in the world. In fact, I think he still has his best voice actor to come, maybe, but who the heck knows. Anyway, let's get into the ranking.
Don't worry, Sonic! Tails to the rescue!
For the physical release of Sonic 2, they released this short, which actually isn't bad. However, for some reason, they decided that they're not going to have some of the voice actors. I mean, it only features the voice of Sonic, but there's only Tails and Knuckles here. And I guess they couldn't get Idris Elba, but for some reason, they couldn't get Tails' voice actor either. You know, she is just a voice actor, not like a high star, so I have no idea why they had a different voice. It's not the worst thing in the world, but definitely isn't great, so that's why it's ranked so low. It might not be the worst Tails voice actress, but for how short this short is, I mean, there's barely anything to go off of.
What an amazing factory! There's no pollution or noise!
Well, did you know in Sonic Heroes, if you let your characters sit by, they'll have a little dialogue? It's kind of hard to hear with the music normally, but there's a whole video dedicated to just them talking. I love it. Speaking of heroes, William Corkery, who voiced Tails in this game, I think along with Advance 3 and Battle, but it's kind of hard to tell because of the GBA voice quality. But yeah, he's a pretty bad Tails voice actor. He can't pronunciate words right. He sounds like he's like 4 years old when Tails is supposed to be a little older than that. I think the idea was, we'll have this kid for longer, but even then, they knew at the time, like, that was a bad idea. I'm not going to mention the Japanese voice actors like I did in the previous one, since there'd be too many, and there's only one for Sonic and Shadow. But yeah, Tails had multiple ones like in America, because they also decided to do the little kid voice thing. Except around the same time when Tails got a female voice in America, he also got one in Japan too. It works better for the most part, however, I think it does sound better for the most part with an actual little kid voicing him, because it gets the idea of what the character is supposed to be. But at the same time, for the long run, it makes more sense to have one voice actor who's able to keep the same voice for years and years. And when it comes to all the little kiddies voicing Tails, this kid's obviously the worst, but, you know, he was just a kid, so you can't really blame him that much. You can't blame a kid for bad acting, you blame the person who hires them.
I finally finished it! See, isn't it great? It's a jet-propelled bodyboard!
Well, I think most of the OVA's voice actors are kind of underrated, and Tails, I at one point thought was okay, but listening on multiple repeats, it is very annoying. No offense to the voice actress. This is actually the first time Tails is ever voiced by a female voice actor rather than a little kid. And for the most part, I usually think it's better this way. Here, it just sounds really nasally, like Tails has to blow his nose really badly. It's not the worst, though, like I said earlier. It's just one that's not up to my perfect standards.
Just like he stole every present from every store!
So there's this weird thing called Sonic Christmas Blast. I reviewed it last Christmas, so if you want to watch that, go ahead and watch it. Since Tails was voiced by a child actor in the original Adventure of Sonic the Hedgehog, they obviously had to recast him for this, and they did. The next two voice actors are going to sound very similar, so basically the SatAM Adventures and this one all pretty much sound the same. This one's the worst because you barely hear him at all, and that's all I gotta say. Just a little kid voicing Tails, and that's about it. That's all I gotta say about that.
Not that one, the funny kiss! On my nose! There was nothing funny about that at all!
Tails kind of sucks in SatAM. He barely does anything, but his voice actor is okay. They kind of make him seem like he's a little fucking baby, wanting a funny kiss for some reason. I didn't know what the fuck that was, and I saw the Sonic short before I saw the actual clip. Like, what the fuck is that? I don't get it, but I guess he wanted some sex. I have no idea what I'm saying here. It just sounds like another young kid voicing Tails without really anything interesting going on here.
Smoking's bad for you, know?
No, it's not. Try it.
So I put the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog Tails above the SatAM one because it's pretty much the same voice, just a different voice actor, but he does a little bit more here. I have no idea why they colored Tails brown. Like, he's an orangey yellow color in game, but now he's brown. Like, why would you make him such a lame color? Like, you think they intentionally made him brown in the games? No, they made him yellowy orange to contrast Sonic. I always saw he was yellow, but he's definitely kind of an orangey color. Sometimes he's more yellow, but whatever. What do I know? Anyway, here's the voice. It's ranked right here.
He says his name is Talks a Lot, and he's from a faraway soda, and where flowers...
I honestly had a really hard time ranking the next few voice actors since they're mostly on the same level. Sometimes they perform lines better than other times, and that's really what it came down to. Kate Higgins here voiced Tails only a couple times or during the early stage of, I guess, I don't know what you call it, the meta era. I don't know if that's what it's called still. Who the heck knows? Anyway, the performance is okay, not the greatest, and after, I think, Lost World, or maybe during Lost World, the voice actress decided not to be Tails anymore. I'm not exactly sure why, and then they did like a Sonic Colors Ultimate short. They brought the voice actress back. She's very similar to the modern day Tails voice actress, so there's not much difference there, except hers sounds a little bit more nasally. Honestly, the problem I have with these female women voicing Tails is that there are great performances of women voicing like little boy characters where you can't even tell. Bart Simpson's like a classic example of that. I told my fiance that character was voiced by a woman and she didn't believe me. I was like, how do you think that character sounds exactly the same for 30 years? But yeah, for Tails, I can pretty much for the most part always tell, especially for most of these, which is unfortunate. It works, but the character is it supposed to be a kid or supposed to be an adult character? And that's kind of the confusing thing about Tails. Early on, they treated him like he's more childlike, and if he's not, it's kind of hard because he's not young enough to have a certain type of young voice, but he's not old enough to require it. It's kind of hard. It's very hard to describe what I'm trying to say, if that makes any sense. So I ranked Kate's Tails lower because she don't even play as this version of Tails ever, so that's one knock, and also this version of Tails kind of sucked. The voice performance is good, however, it wasn't up to my high standard.
Whenever there's a crisis, I'm either running away or standing on the sidelines. You're always rescuing me when all I do is follow you around.
If anyone in the ranks is going to be controversial, it's probably going to be this one. The modern day Tails, who was only there because, I guess, Kate's like, I'm not voicing this character anymore. Colleen, I'm not going to say her last name, sorry, I can't pronounce it. So I'll just say Colleen, you can see it right there, is the new modern day voice actor for Tails. And she's pretty lucky that she got to voice the character in the Sonic movie, too, which is pretty neat. And yeah, that's pretty cool. However, while the performance is pretty good, every time I hear it, like, yeah, that just sounds like a woman voicing Tails. I don't believe it's a little fox boy. It makes Tails sound... If they want to make Tails a female, go ahead, but if he's supposed to be a boy, I don't hear it. I do like the performance, and she's had more opportunity to voice Tails than any other voice actor, at least in English. And I like it for the most part. It's just that I do not buy it as a young little kid, if that makes any sense. It sounds like he's like a woman now who's very smart, and that's fine, but that's not his character, is it? I don't know. Tails is a little bit of a confusing character because sometimes they don't know what they're trying to do with their character, and sometimes they do. Anyway, it's good, and I won't mind if this voice actor stays, but yeah, Tails is a character. What are they doing with this character? Who cares? First springs and stuff. I don't think I even unlocked that building in the game.
And I'm Sonic's very best buddy. Right, Sonic?
The next voice actress is the first time we ever got, well, a voice actor voicing Tails in the main series. Obviously, there was the one in OVA. And looking back, I kind of like it. At the same time, it could use some work. I feel like if she was on as the voice actor for Tails, it probably could work pretty well, actually. I was surprised. I remember not liking this voice that much, but listening back to it, it's not bad at all. In fact, I think it works pretty well. I actually can't tell that sometimes it is a woman, which is always a good thing. You want the character to actually become the character, not hearing the voice actress. I know I seem really weird talking about this, but I have no idea else to talk about it. Yeah, this woman doesn't sound as much like a little boy as I want them to. I don't know. That's why Tails is such a hard character to rank as a voice. It's like, oh yeah, that woman sounds more like a little boy than that woman does. This little boy sounds kind of like a woman. Do you understand what I'm trying to say here? Yeah, overall, I don't think... Sometimes the voice work is a little sloppy. It's not Psycho-Sex it is, but it's the only footage I can get of Tails running around when this person was voicing the character. You gotta love when Sonic Team's like, you know what? People don't want to play as multiple characters anymore. So, like, screw you, Sonic Team. I love playing as multiple characters. Anyway, I digress.
I gotta figure out what Eggman is up to.
When it comes to Sonic Prime characters that aren't Sonic and Shadow, it's kind of hard to talk about since some of them have multiple voice actors because there's multiple alternate versions of them. Tails has one voice actor, luckily, and for the most part, I think she does a good job. The most we see of Tails in this show as the character 9 is very different from regular Tails, but I kind of like that character in a way. I also really like Sonic Prime. I know some people don't like it, and I don't really understand why. People like Sonic Boom Show, but they don't like Sonic Prime. I guess I'm living in a wacko world. But either way, I can't really show a lot of footage of this or I'll get copyright struck. But just to let you know that I like this, I don't know how to pronounce the name because about pronunciation, as Tails, and would be interesting. Actually, wouldn't mind the main cast we talked with the Sonic Prime cast, to be honest.
Not scared. I'm not scared. I can do this.
I know some of you are probably like, what is your problem? This little kid is ranked number 2 on this Tails ranking list, and the answer is yes. Yes, he is. Corey and his brother, who is number 1, if you couldn't tell based off the common denominator, I think sound exactly how I think Tails should sound, even if sometimes their delivery isn't the best. For me, Connor outranks Corey, mostly because Corey has some problems with some pronunciation, which is something I can relate to, and delivery on certain lines. Though overall, he does have the vibe I think Tails needs for exactly just the right amount of age to his voice, as well as temperament to the character. Overall, it just feels like Tails. It doesn't sound like he's not his gender. Not that it matters, but he's supposed to be a boy, so I think he should sound like, well, a boy. That's what we're going for. As well as not sound like a little baby like some of the earlier kid voice actors do, and, well, Sonic Hero's voice actor. He's right there, even though sometimes the delivery sucks, but I think it has a unique charm to it, at least in my opinion. This is what Tails really should sound like, and I kind of wish there was a voice actress who can sound just like these two do, and then would have the best of both worlds, at least in my opinion.
Sonic is asking for the first time to do something for him. I won't let him down. I won't give up.
I hate to sound biased, but yeah, the kid who voices Tails, Connor, in Sonic Adventure 2, which just so happens to be my favorite game of all time, is the best Tails voice actor. Most of the reasons I have, or I already said in the Corey entry, so that's why I kind of made them into one entry. Connor is basically Corey, but better. I guess he imitated his little brother. Older brother. I don't say little brother. I'm an idiot. Anyway. I don't know what. There's something about it. It just sounds right. He also doesn't have any as many delivery problems as Corey does. In fact, I think he delivers pretty well for what his character's supposed to be. The Sonic Adventure 2 is probably the best interpretation of Tails 2, and the fact that he's in a mech the whole time. I don't mind it. Go see my Sonic Adventure 2 video in case you want to know more about my opinion on this game and why I love it so much. But overall, it is just a great game with a great Tails performance. Like, the idea would be if we can get like a voice actress or even a voice actor, that's even possible, to get Tails to sound similar to this, where he's confident, not too feminine, and he's young, but he's not a woman. You know, there's nothing about him that comes off that way. And yeah, I think that wouldn't be too bad, if I say so myself. I want you guys to let me know, because honestly, Tails is one of the 2 Sonic characters where I like them, but I don't like them as much as other people in the fan base do. I'm not talking about the I'll also the other character is when I get to that video. So I might be wrong on what these, but when it comes to me, I like Tails, who has a little bit of confidence. He's still young, he makes mistakes still, but he's smart, but not incredibly smart, this whole thing. And I think this is why I like the Adventure 2 version of Tails and Adventure 1, to be exact. They're just right there. But if they want to do something new with the character, I do not mind. And like I said, I don't really hate any of these voice actors at all. I respect them. Being a voice actor is a fun job, but can be challenging sometimes, especially when you're trying to pretend to be something that you're clearly not. I give credit to these people for trying to make a Fox boy who flies around on two tails, who is also a mechanical genius, who runs around with a blue hedgehog, sound believable. It's not an easy task, but I think they do a good job. Well, some of them not as much. But hey, there's no Meg and Lima who fails spectacularly at voicing Sonic. No, I don't think any of them are really bad either. Some of them are just like, more than anything. So I respect all, 15 voice actors we've been through. And here is the rundown of all of them at the very end to get you a refresher. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. And I hope you like this, because I'll be able to do more. Next time I'll probably be doing Knuckles the Echidna, so stay tuned for that.
Don't worry, Sonic. Tails to the rescue. What an amazing factory. There's no pollution or noise.
I finally finished it! See, isn't it great? It's a jet-propelled bodyboard.
Just like he stole every present from every store. Not that one. The funny kiss. On my nose. Smoking's bad for you, you know.
No, it's not. Try it.
He says his name is Toxalot, and he's from a faraway soda, and where flowers...
Whenever there's a crisis, I'm either running away or standing on the sidelines. You're always rescuing me when all I do is follow you around.
And I'm Sonic's very best buddy. Right, Sonic?
I gotta figure out what Eggman is up to.
Not scared. I'm not scared. I can do this. Sonic's asking for the first time to do something for him. I won't let him down. I won't give up.